Welcome, everyone, to the City of West Miami Planning and Zoning Board hearing of Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you like to roll call, please?
Yes, Eugenio Gonzalez.
Yes.
Diana Rio.
Here.
Alexander Diaz is excused this evening. William Santiago.
Here.
Anthony Verona.
Here.
And we do have, I want to point for the record, our city attorney is out this evening. We do have our substitute attorney, Mr. Claudio Riedi. And next item, item 3, board announcements, reorganization, recognition of changes to the Planning and Zoning Board membership, and designation of presiding chair for the meeting. Before proceeding with tonight's agenda, I would like to acknowledge recent changes to the Planning and Zoning Board membership. Former Chairman Alberto Alonso has resigned from the board due to his relocation to Gainesville, Florida for a new employment opportunity. And we want to thank Mr. Alonso for his dedicated service and contributions to the city of West Miami. Additionally, former board member Victoria de la Torre Gans has transitioned into her new role as city commissioner, and we congratulate her on her election and continued service to the city. We would also like to welcome our newly appointed board members, William Santiago and Anthony Verona, who were sworn in this evening. We look forward to their participation and service on the Planning and Zoning Board. Due to the absence of board member Alexander Diaz, who is excused from tonight's meeting, board member Diana Rio will serve as acting chair. And next item, item 4, administration of oath.
Yes, would those intending to present testimony tonight please raise your right hand and swear or affirm that the statements you will make tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Okay, next item, item 5, approval of minutes. This is for the January 28, 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting.
Only 2 board members that were at that meeting are here today. Can we vote on that?
Yes.
Mr. Attorney?
Yes? Okay, so
Yes.
then I move to approve the meetings of the January 28th meeting.
Okay, item 6, old business, guidance on fences. This is a status update board, update regarding proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance 282, section 722, related to fence height measurements. At the January 28, 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting, the board deferred the item to the June meeting to allow staff additional time to conduct research and prepare revisions to the proposed ordinance. Staff will provide an update and request additional time to complete review prior to bringing back proposed amendments for board consideration. This remains as old business. This item, as I mentioned, reading the caption, it was previously discussed at the January 28, 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting. At the time, staff had recommended deferral to allow additional review and research regarding proposed amendments to the fence regulations. The board voted to defer the item to the June meeting, and staff is requesting additional time to complete its review and bring it back a revised recommendation for a future meeting date.
Okay, since we have 2 board members that are not familiar with this, and we're not gonna discuss this at all, I would like to move to continue this item until
No.
staff is ready to bring it back.
Okay, thank you.
Need a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, all those in favor,
Aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item passes for deferral 4-0. Next item, this is new business. 7A, public hearing, waiver of plat application, WP 2026-001, 6051 Southwest 15th Street, applicant Blue Nest Homes 15 LLC, property address 6051 Southwest 15th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. The applicant, Blue Nest Homes 15 LLC, requests a waiver of plat for the property located at 6051 Southwest 15th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144, to subdivide one existing parcel consisting of approximately 12,000 square feet, 120 feet wide by 100 feet deep, into two separate lots, each consisting of approximately 6,000 square feet, 60 feet wide by 100 feet deep, for the future construction of two one-story single-family residences. The subject property is located within the R1 Single-Family Residential zoning district, zoning ordinance 282, section 4.18. The Planning and Zoning Board shall consider the application and provide a recommendation to the City Commission for final consideration by ordinance. And the applicant is here. Name and address for the record, please.
Of course. My name is Gabriel Bodner. The address is 11355 Southwest 62nd Avenue, Miami, Florida 33156.
Go ahead with your presentation, please.
Sure. So I believe that, we've presented this a few times in the past. I think we have the considerations that have been considered from Ms. Soler, that she's recommended it. We're essentially just looking to split the lot. There was a prior home that had a lot of issues that previously were mitigated by this board. We're looking to build two single-family homes. The lots would be approximately 6,000 square feet each. Are there any questions from the board that I may answer?
So this is only for the waiver, you're not requesting any variances to build the two homes?
That's correct.
Any
This is simply for the
exceptions,
waiver
or
of plat.
just for the, okay. May I open the public hearing for anyone who wants to speak on this item? You can come forward. Being that there's none, I see you have some elevations up that we didn't get to see. Do you want to go over them? Over each, this is what you're proposing to do on the two lots?
That's absolutely correct. So obviously, if you go through the slides, you'll be able to see the renderings of what's being proposed for this site. This was previously a home that was in very poor condition, being lived in by a group of over 10 people, that was in very, very bad shape. There was a $2.7 million plus amount owed in liens and violations on the property going back over 25 years. The property was demolished, in discussion with the city attorney and with the city manager. We've gone ahead and done that already. We fenced off the property. We're now ready to move forward in getting the waiver of plat so that we can continue with our process to see if we can get this built as soon as possible. We submitted 7-8 months ago, and obviously at this point we didn't have the board members to vote on this one item, but we're here today, hopefully with the support of this board and with the city. We believe that this is a great project for the community, and we're looking forward to doing it here in the city of West Miami. Again, we're neighbors right down the street, so we look, we run into board members and the mayor often. We want to make sure that we do a very nice job here, and we look forward to getting this done.
I have a question for staff. Would they have to come back to us for the design of the house at all?
No, based on the memo that's in your packets, everything that they have designed in terms of single-story, single-family, they do comply with lot coverage setback information. So given that the waiver of plat does get approved this evening, it would have to go recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board and then get approved by city ordinance. Once that gets approved through second reading by mayor and commission, they can go ahead and submit permits to the building department for construction.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Any questions,
So,
comments?
I have a question. So you have a 12,000 square foot lot. The intent is to split it right down the middle, right, to 6,000 square feet.
That's correct. It matches the exact plan of the neighborhood. If you look at the plat map there, you'll see that everything else is the same,
So I was gonna
6,000
be-
square foot lots.
That was gonna be my question. Have you looked into, what are the sizes of the, I know you had the aerial up before. What are the sizes of the adjacent lots in that area?
That's right. So it matches completely with, you know, the block and lots of the surrounding properties. So this is going to match very nicely in the neighborhood. You're going to see, I think we've had this, unfortunately, none of the neighbors did appear today, but, you know, I've spoken with many of the neighbors personally, and obviously there's a big change. This was a property that, you know, we had the support of the police and everybody else because the property that was there wasn't only in very poor condition, but the inhabitants of that property just made it unlivable. People were afraid to actually come out of their house with their kids. It was just a derelict property. And you would see that this fits very nicely within the area. The home directly behind one of the homes here is a brand-new construction home. The homes across the street have been renovated, brought up to date. This is going to fit very nicely in the neighborhood. It's going to be a great addition to the neighborhood. And it's similar, you know, in size and in style to what matches the neighborhood, as well as the lots are a perfect fit. So we're not doing anything strange with the lots. It looks like, you know, it was 2 lots previously, and, you know, this is just subdividing those lots back to what I assume was previously there at some point. The property prior was a main structure, and then it was kind of like a mother-in-law home on the second lot. Obviously in very poor condition and with a lot of illegal stuff done to it.
Have you already demoed?
Yes,
That's
one of the requirements to mitigate the $2.7 million in liens and violations was the demolition and, you know, securing the property. It was a little bit of a nightmare to do the eviction and get everything done, but yes, all of that has been done.
Okay.
There's already SOAR as well running to the property, which is also a nice plus that the board should be aware of.
What is this approximate square footage of each of the homes?
So the square footage, I believe it was on a prior slide. I think it's about, I wouldn't want to say with certainty, but I would assume that this looks like about approximately a 2,500 square foot home.
So you can fit two 2,500 square foot homes
On a 6,000 square foot lot.
on a 12,000 square foot lot,
One per each,
One-
yes,
one per
correct.
each, and meet all your setbacks. From what I
And-
understand and what I heard, it sounds like all the setbacks are met. There's no issue with any of that.
That's correct. This would go to permitting and, you know, that would be the next step.
So what is the other home look like? My
They,
only,
they would be very similar in style. They would be almost identical homes.
so do we have a process for looking more, instead of the regulatory in terms of meeting the setbacks and all that stuff, do we have a process for more of an aesthetic to make sure? I have a little bit of an issue with the homes being twins. You know, it kind of, I think it takes away from the community when you have 2 houses that are identical. Even newly planned communities out in Weston don't allow 2 houses. They have 7 floor plans to pick from. Generally don't allow 2 houses next to each other to be identical. So do you have a rendering of, or is that one rendering that would be
No,
the same?
that is the rendering. It would, you know, in terms of style, other than paint and other features that could be changed on the home, they're going to be identical.
Okay.
Again, I mean, that's something that's allowed by the code at this point.
Would they be identical with the garage on the right side, both of them, or would it be mirrored? So the house to the left of this one, if this were the right side of the lot, would it have the garage on, would it be flipped and mirrored, or would it be identical this way?
You would have to go back to the plan. I can tell you from looking at the plan if you want to take a look, but I'm not sure. So this is one home, obviously, and
Right, so the one next to this one, would it be oriented?
Right, this is
with the
parcel
garage?
B, and so we
Right.
should be able to see on parcel A what it looks like.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's the same,
It's not a mirror image, it's the same.
okay. I don't know what our process is for the aesthetic, portion of it in terms of that. I mean, I don't know about if zoning does address, when two houses are next to each other newly built. Of course, I mean, I know we have existing homes that look very similar. They were built, they're grandfathered in, but when we're doing new, if there's anything to address two houses looking identical or not, we can have a discussion about it.
As far as I know, there's no condition on the code, or no, I'm sorry, no requirement on the code that doesn't permit you to do such thing. You could put a condition on the approval of the lot split to say, well, the two homes have to have different architectural features, or they have to be mirror images of each other, or not similar to each other. You can word it in a way, and then we'll vote on that, but there's no specific requirement
Okay.
that tells you cannot build a sister home next to it.
I mean, again, I think, you're seeing a lot of twin homes that are mirror images or, that are similar in nature. Again, like in this neighborhood, I would highly urge, if you hadn't had a chance to look at the homes in the neighborhood, I think you would see that this aesthetic is going to match very nicely. It's an improvement to the neighborhood. It's a very, very clear improvement, to what was previously there. I think some of you may have seen what was there prior to that, and you would say, wow, this is night and day, and this is
Those
beautiful.
2 points, I agree with you. The aesthetic is much nicer than what was there, and the aesthetic of the home itself, what you did, does blend in with the neighborhood. My thing is, having them twins next to, and 5 years from now, the lot next to you does the same thing, and then they decide to do 2 twin homes there, and next thing you know, the street starts looking very similar as you go down. So you can
Sure, no,
kind
I
of
understand.
looking at this in a little bit of
Absolutely.
looking into the future, so.
Board, if
you know.
I may, this item is strictly for the waiver of plat,
Okay,
just to note that.
sure, okay.
Any
Yeah.
more questions?
Just, because actually my sister-in-law lives across the street, so thank you for demoing that and going through this process. And I would agree that, I get what, board member is saying, which is something if you could think about. It's not,
Absolutely.
if you could just aesthetically on the outside facade, change something. But I agree with you. I think it fits with the neighborhood 100%, so, I'm motion, can I motion?
Before
Oh,
a motion
sorry.
takes place, Madam Chair, if you can close the public hearing. Gavel.
The public hearing is closed.
Can
Okay,
I,
proceed.
motion to, vote to, split the lot?
It would be approval for a recommendation, so I can go for an ordinance with City Commission.
There we go.
I second the motion.
Okay. Board member, William Santiago, how do you vote?
Yes,
Board member Eugenio Gonzalez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board member Anthony Verona, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Madam Chair Diana Rio, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, item passes 4-0. And this will go to the next City Commission meeting, which is scheduled for July 15th.
Thank you very much, Board, and thank you again, Ms. Valera, and to the city manager, who I know is absent today, and to the attorneys that assisted with this process thus far. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Okay, next item is item 7B, public hearing, special use permit for plan development application, SUPPD 2026-002, 6500 Southwest 14th Street. Applicant Walbert 7 LLC, property address 6500 Southwest 14th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. The applicant, Walbert 7 LLC, requests a special use permit for planned development for the property located at 6500 Southwest 14th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. The applicant proposes a new residential development consisting of two-story townhome units on a vacant parcel located within the R2 multifamily duplex zoning district. The proposed development consists of two contemporary architectural style townhomes, approximately 24 feet 2 inches in height, with each unit consisting of approximately 3,852.65 square feet, 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Zoning ordinance 282, section 2B.1 and section 4.17. The Planning and Zoning Board shall consider the applicant and provide a recommendation to the City Commission for final consideration. Name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Rafael Peñalver, and I'm here as a last-minute pinch hitter for my sister that was supposed to be here. She had a family emergency on her way to becoming a grandmother for the second time tonight. So I am, in your records, it's probably Aurora Peñalver, but I'm here for her, Rafael Peñalver. And I wanted to introduce first for this project, the architect for the project, Leticia Karemian, with the technicals. If you would like to come up and...
Good night, I'm Leticia Keremian, the architect of the project.
And I'm Leslie Campos. I am the general contractor.
And what's being sought is your approval for the construction of a two-story townhouse in a duplex lot. And if you have specific, you would like to...
What we are searching right now
I'm sorry,
is-
name and address for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry.
6500 Southwest 14th Street.
Sorry, a little nervous.
No, she meant your name and address. Your as the architect, your name and your office.
I'm Leticia Keremian, the architect of the project. 121 Crandon Boulevard, 355 Key Biscayne, Florida, 33149.
Thank you.
Leslie Campos, 6000 Southwest 26th Street, Miami, Florida, 33155.
Board, if I may, I'd also like to read into the record item 7C. This is the dedication of the right-of-way for this property, but we'll vote on them separately. I just want to read them both into the record, if I may.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Item 7C, public hearing dedication of right-of-way 6500 Southwest 14th Street, applicant Walbert 7 LLC, property address 6500 Southwest 14th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. Consideration of a recommendation to the City Commission regarding the proposed dedication of an existing 25-foot right-of-way area consisting of approximately 2,046.75 square feet associated with property located at 6500 Southwest 14th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. As part of the proposed residential development, the applicant has agreed to dedicate the existing 25-foot right-of-way area to the City of West Miami. The dedication will ensure the right-of-way is formally conveyed and accepted by the city in accordance with applicable requirements. The Planning and Zoning Board shall consider the proposed right-of-way dedication and provide a recommendation to the City Commission for final consideration.
So can we discuss
Okay.
both at the same time? The right-of-way and the actual...
Yes, I believe so. However, we have to
exception?
vote on them separately.
Yes, okay. Okay. Would you like to present the
I'm just going to
plans?
begin, just the introduction. We had tasked the architect, this is a single lot home. We believe, and what we're requesting is, we're requesting to split the plat into two separate plats in order to build two townhomes. We're requesting a special use for second 2 floors, and we also are requesting a variance in order to make a slightly larger townhome for more of a family-oriented, a family that has children, not so much for, you know, a couple, but more of a family-oriented home.
So I'm sure you guys have also the floor plans there. It's a duplex with one bedroom in the lower floor, living area, a big yard in the back, so as Leslie was saying, for families to have their kids, space for their kids. And in the second floor, 3 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms.
So at the end of the day, I can ask the question? Okay, so at the end of the day, you're trying to change this lot into a duplex townhomes. So there'll be two folios here at the end of the day.
Right now, the applicant is only applying for a dedication of right-of-way. When the survey was conducted, it showed that they owned a portion of the street and right-of-way. So they are applying for that dedication to give that portion to the city, and that's gonna get approved, given that it gets approved here for recommendation, so it goes in front of city commission, and they're also applying for a special use for building only 2-story. This property, because it is zoned R2, they are allowed to do 2 townhomes. They did not apply for a variance, as the general contractor was mentioning. If they want to expand the size per our code, they would have to go through the variance process and come in front of the board again. There was something else too that was mentioned, variance, and you had mentioned something
The
else.
special use
The-
for 2
the special use,
stories
which you
and
did apply
variance
for. In terms of the lot split, if you want to split the lot, that would have to go in front of this board again as well. Again, the only 2 items that were applied for this property was the special use to build 2-story and for the dedication of right-of-way.
So not the variance for the additional FAR.
No, ma'am.
But one question, since this lot allows a duplex, do we need to split this lot in 2, this plat in 2? Yes, want to-
It depends. If you're going to sell each of them fee simple, and then you'll need to do the lot split. If you're going to maintain the building as under single ownership or do it as sort of a condo, then you would not have to do
Got
that.
it, understood.
So then, if it's to what I'm hearing, what you're saying is then, okay, if I understand what you're saying then is that there was on our part, a misunderstanding of what we were here to present in full, because they're all kind of related to each other.
Yes, a variance would be if you wanted to, for example, expand the
Correct,
floor
that, yeah.
area ratio, anything out of our code.
Right,
You can do so, but it would have to go in front of this board again.
okay.
But the plans as they are right now, do they require a variance? I don't
Yes,
think
they do.
do.
Okay, well,
I think, I think we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
you would, before proceeding, if you want to vote to defer the special use item and then proceed with the dedication of right-of-way, I'm just thinking in terms of time and process.
Do we have to, I mean, do we have to do it? Can we basically tailor everything off to the next?
Do you want to defer everything and continue both items? Okay.
Would it be possible to hear from the public? Maybe there's members of the public in here that would like to speak on this case, so that when they go back to the drawing board, they have some sort of feedback?
Yes, if you want to open, just a moment.
No, if the applicant wishes to defer and the the board agrees to defer, both items can be deferred, and if they wish to present both of them together, that's fine.
That's okay. I would like to hear from the public that might be here to speak on this item before we vote on deferring. Yes? I open the public hearing for any member of the public who would like to speak for or against this project.
Good afternoon, planning and zoning members. My name is George Gonzalez, 1407 Southwest 65th Avenue. I've been a resident there for over 20 years. And if you are an actual West Miamian, you'll know that that lot for many years was practically invisible because the home that was there was far set back and it was like a jungle. So many of the residents are concerned now with this new townhome. We have seen growth throughout West Miami, which we're excited about, obviously, but we also have seen some of the, let's call them McMansions, townhomes that are cookie cutters. There's examples of that right behind the property that they just bought. There's some down 65th Avenue, right by the new place, the Franks, I think it's called. Long story short, most of my concerns are the parking. If you go down 65th Avenue, you will see there's an abundance of double parked vehicles, vehicles on the grass, parked everywhere. So I am concerned. I would love to see, so far from the first glance, it looks nice, but I would like to see the elevated plan for the actual location. Another thing that I was very concerned about, thank you, is the canopy. You know, here at West Miami, we are supposedly very high on canopy and greenery. But if you look closely at the floor plan before, you will see that some of the beautiful trees will probably have to be taken down. So that's a concern. And if they are going to be taken down, I hope that the board demands that they replace it with appropriate trees that match the actual neighborhood, as opposed to one of the monsters that we do have in West Miami that has hanging Santa Clauses with palm trees, that do not match West Miami. So I'll leave it with that, but hopefully we won't have a hanging Santa Claus on 65th Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public that would like to speak on this item? No?
You can be assured that there will be plenty of trees to surround this property, and we will agree to that.
I know you don't know us, but we have a great pride in what we do. As a builder, I like people to recognize that it was built well and it was built beautifully. So I appreciate, number one, you coming and participating in this, because as a person that lives in Shenley Park, I have the same viewpoint. We want to make this a family home. We don't want to make it a party home. We don't want to see 600 cars. I agree with what you're saying. So we respectfully understand where you're coming from, and we are more than happy to listen and to address, especially when it comes to, the trees. That is something that, we're on your side on that. We're on your side. We follow the rules. Any questions in response to what I said, or?
Close the public hearing.
Closing the public hearing. Comments from the board, please? Questions?
No.
All right, so we're gonna defer this item until it gets notified again with
Okay,
a new,
so
request
for
for.
item-
7B,
Item 7B, who motions to defer the item?
second.
No, someone has to make a motion.
Motion
first.
to defer item 7B.
Okay, who seconds?
Yes.
Okay, Board Member William Santiago, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Eugenio Gonzalez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Anthony Verona, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Acting Chair Diana Rio, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, item has been deferred.
And for the record, I think it's both item 7B and 7C that have been deferred.
Well, I'm gonna read them, I'm gonna vote
Okay.
separately. Okay, and this will be deferred. Is there a set date?
How much time do you guys think you need?
I think we just have to put it in correctly is what we need to do, right? The agenda.
What would you recommend, Mercy?
I second the motion.
Okay, it will duly advertise it, re-advertise for the next meeting, because we do have to send notices again.
Okay.
So to
next
be
meeting?
announced.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, and then item seven
what-
C, dedication of right-of-way.
Yes, we're moving to defer that as well.
Okay,
Second.
Who motions?
Motion to defer item 7C.
Second the motion.
Okay, Board Member William Santiago, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Eugenio Gonzalez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Anthony Verona, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Acting Chair Diana Rio, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, item deferred, meeting to be announced, 4-0. Item 7D, public hearing, variance application, variance 2026-001, 6227 Southwest 12th Street. Applicant Juan Carlos Gonzalez, property address 6277 Southwest 12th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144. The applicant Juan Carlos Gonzalez requests a variance for the property located at 6277 Southwest 12th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144, to allow the construction of a detached pool cabana bath structure with an outdoor barbecue area on a property located within the R1 Single Family Residential zoning district. The applicant is requesting a reduction of the required rear setback from 15 feet to 6 feet 7 inches, and a reduction of the required side setback from 6 feet to 4 feet 1 inch for the proposed 537 square foot detached accessory structure. The proposed structure includes plumbing improvements consisting of a bathroom and outdoor kitchen barbecue area, which are not permitted within a detached accessory structure pursuant to zoning ordinance 282 as amended by ordinance 9901, sections 4.12B and 4.15. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, good evening, the board. Juan Carlos Gonzalez, 6277 Southwest 12th Street. I'm accompanied with my wife, Michelle Gonzalez, and our architect, Amir.
Hi, my name is Amir Gonzalez, 2830 Taylor Street, Hollywood, Florida, 33020.
Michelle Gonzalez, 6277 Southwest 12th Street. Good afternoon.
Okay, if the applicant wants to present what exactly they're doing.
Sure, so we're very excited to be here. First of all, congratulations to the new board-appointed members. Big task. We really appreciate the city of West Miami. We lived here 6 years already, and this has been since day one, since we moved here. We have been calling or sending emails to Ms. Soler and asking her what are the setback or this and that, and we were very fortunate to find an architect to be able to work with us and help us to figure out how we meet pretty much all the requirements without affecting our aesthetic or city or upsetting anybody. So we have met several times already with Ms. Soler and Mr. Alvarez, and we have taken some feedback, so well, all the feedbacks, and we have drafted some changes, and I think what we're gonna present to you, I think you're gonna fall in love with it. It's very practical. Obviously, it's something that is gonna be housed in the back, but what we did with the help of the architect is really gonna look like the home. It's really gonna look like it's almost like attached to the home. The magic here was just to figure out a way how to do something that is convenient. We're hoping to grow our family. We want a place where we can enjoy our patio. We live in South Florida, so it's very hard for us that we don't have anything back there, and we don't have enough space to even make something more beautiful and bigger than what we want. So this, what we're proposing is a variance to do this cabana. and to do the pool and to do like everybody else now has in our city. I've seen a lot of these projects already being approved. They look very beautiful. And we definitely want to start working on this project as soon as possible. The square feet, I think it's 537, I think it is. Other than that, it's just a regular standard pool. Like I said, we worked really, really hard to get to this point, and I think we hope that we can get your approval.
I have a couple questions or clarifications. So you're requesting two setbacks two variances for just the cabana, rear and interior side, right? Not for the pool, the actual pool?
No.
No, just for the cabana.
Correct.
So the variance, Madam Chair, if I may, the variance is for the setbacks, which they don't comply per our code. So that's the variance that they're applying for, and also any detached structure is not allowed to have plumbing or electrical use if they're doing bathroom, anything like that. So that's why they're applying for the variance.
I see. Can you go over a little bit about what you consider to be the hardship for requesting this variance? Typically, variances need to show that in order to be granted a variance, you need to show some sort of hardship. Why it is that you can't enjoy your home without this variance, or why you need, X amount of square footage on this structure to need a variance. Why can you just reduce it, move it a little bit, maybe just request the one variance in the rear? Talk to us a little bit about why it is, because the way I see it, you have a regular size backyard, you meet the existing, the house seems to meet the current regulated setbacks. So can you tell us a little bit of why it is that you need to come out so far into both sides?
Yeah, obviously we want to grow our family, and we want to have a little bit more space that we are able to enjoy within our own patio. We have tried to make this a little bit different, but for the layout, what we're looking for, and to have the accessibility, we don't have a bathroom close to inside our property. So it will be very convenient for us to have something that within our parameters that we can actually enjoy. Like I said, we lived here, we want to stay here, and it's just not feasible to do something smaller, because then you just can't call it what you want to call it, That space is very restricted.
Is this an air-conditioned space?
We're considering putting a little split unit there, because obviously in the summer it gets really hot. It's gonna, if you look at the rendering, do you have other pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look at the rendering, maybe the one on the right side, it's pretty much everything open. We're doing it but obviously if we ever want to close it, like I said, we grow our family and we want air conditioner in there. It's just nice to turn it on. But it's really going to be, if you look at the rendering, it's going to be more of a open. We're trying to do something where you have a window or a door that it's like an L shape, to have that kind of more exposed open.
I'd like to open the public hearing for anyone who would like to speak on this item. Nobody? Okay, public hearing is closed. Comments, suggestions from the board? Questions?
I got a quick question. Have you had conversations with your neighbors about what you want to do?
Actually, I did. I have a really good relationship pretty much with the guys in the back and the front. And actually, I was walking in the corner one. I forgot his address. So I'm on 12, so he might be in 11. And he was actually very happy. He's like, wow, because he actually sees my backyard. And he sees it. I had sent Ms. Lear what it looks like now. Do you have a picture of what it looks like now? Because I had sent you in a PowerPoint. It's very virgin. It's very green. So, of course, he was like very ecstatic. He's like, wow, this is going to be really nice. My neighbor actually has done beautiful work. He actually did the same thing I did. I think what his bathroom is attached maybe, but he did the same thing maybe about 2 years ago. It was approved by the board. And he was very excited that I'm gonna be able to do something like this as well. And the neighbors in the front, nobody has really come and said anything otherwise. Again, because the idea was just to keep everything as, the structure kind of like the same and just to look like it's part of the home.
So just curious, why didn't you attach it then? Like, the little gap that you have right here?
So, yeah, we considered that at some point, but just because of the flow of the air and it just didn't look good, first of all, but also the axis. So if you attach it, then you have to go, I would have to like walk just too far. So it would be a little bit more an inconvenience as well, and structure. And also, we were more concerned about the air quality. We wanted to make sure that we have enough air quality and flow throughout the greenery as well.
Right.
And also, I got the idea, I mean, if you, there is a couple of people that have done this, and they look very beautiful, and they're here in our city, and that's exactly kind of what I model behind their layout.
One of the original designs was to do the attached addition, but either side of the addition would contradict the existing layout. It would block either exits from either the master bedroom or the living room. And also, once you attach it, the openings, as Juan Carlos pointed out in our design, you end up opening the cabana towards the back and the neighbors, instead of opening to you and keeping that privacy. So it would be opening towards the back, opening to nothing. That's why we ended up switching the design like that.
And it wasn't possible to keep the 5-foot setback to the side? Because you guys had requested.
If that is the deciding factor, I think we could force it. We could,
Have we approved
give
that
up a
before,
little bit.
Mercy? Sorry. Have we approved a side setback of less than 5 feet?
Yes,
We have?
yes.
Okay.
Not
I'm new.
particularly for a cabana, but for pergolas and things like that, they have gone in front of this board where it's been approved, I think, as small as 2 feet, 1 inch.
Okay.
Just for the record, for clarity, the side setback is 6 feet, right?
Yes,
That's
that's
the required.
10% of the width of the lot. So if the lot measures 60
60.
feet, then it's 6 feet.
6 feet, okay.
I believe to further clarify, the ones that we have approved that were 2 feet setback were after the fact permits, as far as I can remember. They were already built and they came in front of the board as an after the fact sort of situation, so.
Got you. Understood. So they built it and then got caught.
There was another one that did go in front of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we trust me, we've been on this for a couple of years, and even to get here, since the beginning of the year, we've been meeting, and with Ms. Soler and her team, very carefully, we have gone back and forth, we have spent a lot of, go ahead, Mr. Barron, you have a question?
Yeah, the only other thing is in the rear of, is there any utilities back there? Because
Yes, so they do have their easement where they have their water line and a main water line. Before this project came in front of this board, I did reach out to our city engineer and also our water and sewer supervisor to make sure that there was no conflict. There was the idea of them extending onto their property line, but they do have to have the chain link fence that you see in this rendering. That space between what the wood fence is and the chain link fence would be, for example, their easement, and they would have to leave access there for main water line that is back there and also their water meter.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
Right.
not touching the easement, yeah.
But
We-
just to be clear, the 15.
There is still clearance for the easement access,
Right, I
yes.
see here that it's shown at 2.5 feet, 2.5 feet. So just to be clear, the required 15-foot setback is inclusive of the 2.5 feet?
Correct, yes, sir.
Or the 2.5 feet is
Mhm.
inclusive of the
Yes.
15, okay,
Mhm.
15 feet. So, and you're proposing a 6'7" for 15. I, mm,
Bless you.
it's very nice. It's beautiful, no doubt. It's a really nice.
I gotta
it look-
thank
looks great. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
It's really nice. I do think, like, to echo my colleague's comment here is, it looks very tight back there. I mean, I'm not sure that level of, I mean, you're reducing the setback by more than 50%. 50% would be 7.5 feet. You're at 6'7", so I'm not sure that is that creates that much of a hardship for this. You're at 6 feet. You're required 6 feet. You're 4'1", so to the side. I don't know if the pool is 24 by 13. That's still accurate, right? From what it says here.
Correct.
And the pool, I think it looks like it's in line with that back wall to the rear.
No, the edge of the water. The edge of the water is farther inside.
The what? I'm sorry? Yeah, the water line,
The
yeah.
edge of the water is inside.
The edge of the water, yes, exactly, yes. All right. And the hardship is, could it, and the proposed cabana, the portion that you're gonna air condition, of course, is the one where the toilet is, and I guess the rest of it is kind of like an area to,
That little corner area.
a little
yeah.
corner
And then
area.
everything is like outdoor.
Well, it looks like on the roof, the portion that's on the roof, half of it is AC and the other half is not under air, correct? That's what I'm looking at here. Looks like about 50% of it is under air, which is inclusive of that toilet room, and then the other 50% is basically the summer
Well,
kitchen.
the
sort of
AC,
thing.
you won't have AC in the bathroom. Right?
But,
Yeah,
but
because
you,
it's a split unit, so.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Then how is okay, so what's the rest of it cooled? Where you do have, it's a split unit outside of the bathroom.
Correct.
Right, yeah, but it's all within that area though, right? The bathroom is a room within the cabana, which is
Correct,
enclosed with
correct,
AC.
correct,
So it's
correct.
encompassing of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious to know what that River Rock path that you were pointing to, what is that for?
Yes.
So-
If I may add, one of the arguments when we're speaking with Mercy and her team was that there couldn't be, well, they were suggesting some pervious materials within 3 feet of the property line for drainage purposes. So instead of having the concrete pavers, we still want the walkway to be able to access the bathroom without having to go over the grass. But this system is fully permeable.
Oh, because there's a door back there?
Yes, the access to the cabana bath is it's on the side.
It's from, well, the access to the cabana bathroom is from the inside of
There
the
are
cabana.
two doors. There are 2 doors.
2 doors in the bathroom, one to
If
the
you look
right
at
and one-
the large floor plan, we have a door from the inside the cabana, and then one from the side.
Okay.
May I approach?
Um, I- Yeah, I see it. Why exactly is it that you need 2 doors in there?
As we mentioned, the proposed cabana is more of a resting area for the days or it might be raining that you don't have to walk outside or just enjoying the barbecue. And the open cabana, so you don't have to walk all the way around. You have access from inside the cabana as well.
Right, well, why can't you just have the one door from the inside?
We were also providing the possibility that if people are enjoying the outside or wet, the pool, they don't have to walk through the inside finished area. They can just go around. It's providing the opportunity to either use.
Frankly, I like the design. I think it's gonna turn out to be a beautiful, very usable backyard. I don't believe that I see a strong enough hardship to merit a large variance like that, like this. I think you can maybe squeeze the area right, next to the bathroom a little bit and maybe line it up with the house or seek a less obtrusive kind of
I'm sorry, if I may.
variance. Yes,
Hi,
please.
yes.
Yes.
So as my husband was saying, the best way to make use of our small backyard, because these pictures, I mean, really, Amir did an amazing job of making our backyard look very spacious. I really wish we would have had a picture up here for you to see like how it is right now. And at this time, what we have is basically, if I'm not mistaken, like 8 feet of concrete that's basically coming out. And then we have just green space. And so I feel like if we reduce the amount of livable space that we're gonna have with this, we're not really going to be able to enjoy the space as the intention is to be able to use the space this way. Because once you start, I mean, this is more for Amir as an architect, this is outside of my area of expertise. But I would, just basically say that, these blocks and all of these things, they take up their space. And so, so that is really the other reason why we're trying to make the most use of the space in the backyard, so that we can really enjoy the pool area and the kitchen area, and also be able, to have space to entertain our family and ourselves and that sort of thing. So.
And I see from the site plan that the adjacent neighbors, the one in the rear and then the one diagonal to your backyard that one is very close to you. If you can go back to that, to the survey slide, that one. You see on the upper left-hand corner, that shows the location of the other homes. Did we get any comment from any one of these neighbors?
So we do send out notices weeks prior. It's a certain radius, I don't know the number off the top of my head, because I do have a coworker that helps me with the mailings. But we do notice in the notice of public hearing, which is attached, it's in your packets, that they are more than welcome to see the plans and come to our office to view and also speak here. I did not receive any calls from any surrounding neighbors or emails, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
How far, just for clarification, Mercy, if we grant a variance on the side, does it have to be for both sides, or can it be just one side and hold the other to the 6 feet?
Yes, you can approve one and, or motion, with a condition.
With a condition for, okay.
Any further comments, suggestions, questions?
How to decide?
We have this presentation, can you go up to the proposed floor plan, sheet A2? Okay. So on the upper left, you have the 7'6" that you're requesting, and that aligns with the water, which doesn't quite align with the wall of the structure over to the right, correct?
So the edge of the water line is, we aligned the deck, basically the 1 foot edge of the deck
Right.
is aligned with the wall of the cabana. So the pool begins a foot inside the deck.
Yeah, but if you're requesting 7'6", then the back wall of the cabana should be at 7'6". It looks to me from the drawing that it's further.
No, 6'7",
Oh, 6'7".
because the edge of the water is at 7'6".
Okay,
So
so
there is
there's,
about an inch of discrepancy because of the stucco line dimension precision.
okay,
But the foot difference is the edge of the deck of the pool that you're looking at.
okay, and your request is 6'7", not 7'6".
Yeah, 6'7".
Okay. Okay. So it wouldn't work for you then to, your proposed cabana layout and the bathroom, if you were to rotate the bathroom 90 degrees and put it up back to the barbecue area, which you could actually share the plumbing, you wouldn't be able to bring in the right side of the cabana away? I mean, you have that space, I don't know what that space would be used for, right next to on the other side of the wall where the shower is. But if the bathroom is rotated, it would seem to me like it fits back to back with the sink and the barbecue area. You'd actually share the same plumbing. And then I think at that point, you may be able to bring in the right side of the cabana in and then be within that setback. I don't have an issue with the side setback over on the left. It's the structure and the door, as Ms. Rio mentioned, going off to on the other side. Is that something you would consider?
Well, the reason why we did it like this is because we tried that before. The reason why we did it like this is to have the door not going into the utilities easement. So to provide that just as a walkable path. And also, once we rotate the bathroom and make it a long way like this, if you notice, the doors that we're proposing are telescoping doors. So once you open it, they'll bleed into that space that you see there.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if we put the bathroom there, we don't have the space to hide the doors unless we do a double wall and we get on into all these with space in the sense of trying to hide the doors. So once we put the bathroom like that, then the opening becomes way too smaller for the vision we had.
So the door you're referring to is that second door exiting, going out?
I'm referring to the
Yeah,
door.
the exterior door. Mhm.
The sliding doors,
Oh, the sliding door.
open to the barbecue and to the residence.
Okay. I think those limitations that you're talking about are kind of support the fact that there's a lot being pushed in here. I mean, it's getting really kind of big for the area. I don't have any further comments.
Anybody would like to make a motion?
And let's see. I think I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve.
All variances.
Yes, all variances.
Any second?
Here a second.
Second.
Do roll call, please.
Okay, Board Member Eugenio Gonzalez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Anthony Verona, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Board Member William Santiago, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Diana Rio, how do you vote?
Yes.
Item passes 4-0.
Thank you, Board. Thank you. Have a good night. Well, hopefully we'll get this soon.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Okay, next item, item 7E, discussion regarding proposed mobile food dispensing vehicles, food truck regulations. Review and discussion of a proposed draft ordinance amending the City of West Miami Code of Ordinances to establish regulations for mobile food dispensing vehicles, food trucks, including application requirements, operational standards, zoning considerations, and compliance with applicable Florida statutes prior to consideration by the City Commission.
This is something for us to just review, not to take any action on, right?
Correct, it's just for discussion, and we do have a presentation. Let's see. Okay.
Good evening, this is Mark Alvarez. I'm going to be doing the presentation. So we are considering a mobile food truck or mobile food service vehicles, or commonly known as food trucks, ordinance for the city. We don't have one right now. And the reason that we would want to do that, of course, the positive reasons are that we want to support the local economy, and food trucks, they're local businesses. They do support the local economy. They tend to also support incubator businesses. A lot of them will have commissaries that have started in the area, and we've seen this industry grow tremendously. Miami is actually a real hotspot for, or greater Miami, I should say. We do want to support existing businesses. They are often used as a complementary use, so they're often, you will find either the trailer or the truck in a parking lot for a business that's looking to attract more people and have more activities in that business. We do have one that's an art gallery right now that has a food truck in it. We also recognize that they're very popular because they're local food venues that residents enjoy, and we want to be able to provide that. But most of all, on the other side of all that, we want to make sure that we protect the residents from not having them in the wrong place at the wrong time. So a few concepts that we'll go over quickly. We'll go over the definitions. There are different types of food trucks, and those definitions really come from state law. We do have state regulations. The most important one, and I'll get to that in a slide, is that we have some preemptive issues with food trucks. The most important one to realize is that we do have to allow them in the city somewhere. We can regulate where and how they operate and the times, but we can't say that we'll not have food trucks at all. And that is a state preemption. So we'll discuss the idea of where we want the location, on-street and off-street, are both valid, and then where actually on-street and off-street we would consider to allow them. With each of those locations, we'll consider the actual operations, the time, the duration that they can operate, the idea of consumption on or off premises. A lot of the more successful food truck businesses will set up tables, and particularly when they're in a location of another business that they're supporting that business as well, they'll have tables and chairs set up. We'll discuss parking, signage, and the application process for the permitting. So a quick introduction, and again, this follows what the state has created categories of these types of vehicles. Without reading all of that, I'll give you I think you've seen enough that you'll get this pretty quickly, but a stationary food truck is a food truck that it goes to a place during the day and it stays there. It stays there the whole day. The big important concepts, of course, it has its own motor. It's not a trailer, so it can get around on its own. All of the food preparation, all of the activity happens within the truck. There's no outside barbecue. There's no outside generators, containers, and so forth, and all the point of sale happens through the window, so there's no outside point of sale that's happening. This would never, so even if you're having tables there, you would never have people bringing food. It's all up to the window, and nothing happens outside the truck other than people enjoying their food. The route-based truck, we've seen these often. They go to construction sites and so forth, but it is the type 2 truck according to the state. The main difference on these route-based trucks is that instead of going to one place and staying there the whole day, they run a route. And typically construction sites, a lot of businesses, they'll just run, and you've seen them. We have other names for them, but you know, they come, they open up their canopies, and all of the food is inside as well. The difference here is point of sale happens outside. No food can be prepared or anything can happen outside the truck with food preparation. They depend on their commissary. The commissary is the location where the trucks stock up, and this is a route-based food truck. The other category is a trailer vendor. Trailer vendor is exactly like a food truck. Everything happens through the window, everything happens inside. The only difference is it's a trailer. It doesn't come to the location on its own. It has a tow vehicle. And sometimes they're a little easier when it's an off-site business to just have the trailers. The cart vendor is a bit different. The main difference here is that, of course, they may have motors. We see the scooters, we see the electric ones now. There were the old-fashioned push carts. But the main difference is that they're off-road. So they may come there by the road. They may come through a trailer to the location, but those can more easily be in locations like parks or off-site locations because it's not so large. Still, everything has to happen on the cart. There's no setting up a barbecue or some other thing outside the cart. Everything happens there. All the food preparation is there. And again, the point of sale is, of course, around the cart. And then finally, the ice cream truck, which we've added. That's not actually a state category because it has a few differences it's very much like a route type service truck. However, because it's not hot prepared food, and it does also operate a little different from the route truck. The route truck can only go to its places on the route. So it'll go to the construction site, it'll go to the business. The ice cream truck is something that the basic operation allows you to hail it down. That's how they work. So children come out on the street and they literally hail it down and it stops there. So we've included it as a separate category for consideration that we would allow ice cream trucks to operate in this way where they can be hailed down. I talked about the preemptive regulations. There are a lot of state regulations, but basically all of the issues regarding the health and safety regulations are the states. We can't regulate any of that. What we may regulate is how the mobile food trucks operate within the city, where they operate, the times they operate, but we can't, and again, as I said before, we can't regulate them entirely out of the city. And we have to do all that through an ordinance, and that's why we're considering an ordinance, because we don't have one right now. So the locations, in a very general way, are, of course, we have to consider on-street locations, and there's a lot of detail in the ordinance right now to address that, because we have to look at a lot of things like we can't have them stopped across from a fire station entrance, not near a fire hydrant, not near the corner of the street. So there's a lot of detail in the ordinance about that. We don't want them on the swales. We've had discussions about how we use the swales for parking, and there's a whole other item, but we know that they damage swales, so we don't want them on the swales. The only place they can stop on the right-of-way is an illegal parking spot. We would also consider allowing them in parks, either in a parking lot or around the park where it's the right-of-way, but particularly as we get into the carts and trailers, we may want to allow them in the parks as a permitted activity for special events, or if we do choose to permit them in a semi-permanent basis, that will work too. There's a lot that would have to go into that permit to make sure that it's a compatible operation in the park. And then again, on private, on private property, we do see them again in businesses. In the parking lots, we'll see trailers or trucks and even carts to support the business or sort of an ancillary use to the business. This gets a little more difficult in this city because our lots are fairly small, but a lot of cities do permit residents for children's parties typically, to allow a food truck to come into their property. We would require that food truck be small enough to fit into their driveway. We don't want that on the street. But it is something to consider. It is how they're often used. They're hired to go to a party of somebody at their house. Apartment buildings have the same situation. They may have food trucks come, again, entirely within the property for special events. Churches, schools also do the same thing. In all those cases, they would be on the property. Schools and churches have parking, and apartments have parking lots, and that would be where they are going to go in those locations. So we've also considered where in the city, based on the zoning, because of course I've already talked about single-family homes and apartments and commercial areas. So the chart gives us the basic view of what we're thinking of right now in this ordinance and what's in the ordinance. so that the commercial is the most liberal in terms of what it can permit. So we would allow the type 1 stationary vehicle, the stationary trailer, as well as the route-based truck on commercial properties or on right-of-ways adjacent to the commercial properties, which is really going to be a very small area in the city because, of course, they can't be on 8th Street, they can't be on Ludlam, they can't be on Red Road, but on the side streets within the commercially zoned area, we would consider allowing them to be in a legal parking space. And again, that's going to be very tight because they have to be back from the corner, they have to be back from signage and so forth. Wherever it works, we would consider that. In apartments, again, this is more of on-site locations. If the apartment buildings want to have a truck come in for a special event to be on site, we would permit that. And again, it would be through a permitting process. Also for the R5 zone, the R5 is actually a very difficult zoning category because, as we know, it's a number of things. It's the backs of the commercial uses on 8th Street. It's also single-family houses, and it's actually zoned for parking. But we would treat it very much like the commercial space, so that we would allow all of the different trucks on site or on the right-of-way next to it. And then as we go into parks and public schools, religious institutions, again, we're focusing mostly on on-site locations. So they have plenty of parking in all of those places. We would permit food trucks to be in those locations for special events, not for ongoing operations beyond 6 months. And then for the townhouses, I think townhouses, which is the edge along Ludlam and a little bit along 8th Street, east of here, behind the commercial, we think of that much more like a single family because in the case of townhouses, they're usually across the street from single family. So we're thinking in terms of more like, this is going to be for a party, somebody wants to have it for one day, it has to be on the driveway, it can't be on the street. So that's what the ordinance has. The ordinance is kind of lengthy, so I think this chart helps to understand what we're proposing for allowing food trucks in those locations. For times, we are proposing 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and that would include setup and breakdown. So if it's a trailer and they want to tow it to the location, they need to be there no earlier than 7, and maybe they start at 8 o'clock. The duration would be, generally speaking, I think we're looking at short-term durations, but as we are in the commercial parking lots, we could have a long-term duration food truck or food trailer serving in those parking lots. Again, the permitting, we would consider the parking, that it's not displacing the parking that business needs. For stopping, again, this is only for ice cream trucks and route trucks. We're not really allowing route trucks anywhere except commercial and the R5. So essentially, it would come down to ice cream trucks. I'm sorry, I skipped something important on the last slide, but I'll just go over it now. For the right-of-ways, we're not allowing any kind of food truck to cruise the right-of-ways or park in the right-of-ways in the R1 and R2 areas, except for ice cream trucks, because we believe that that's an essentially residential operation that they go through. People hail them down, they sell their products. And then in parks, again, by special event permit, there could be a regular location by a permit. There could be, as we'll probably have on 4th of July, we'll have a food truck festival that's involved in that too, so we would permit that as well. Signage, the picture is what we would not allow. So basically this comes down to all the signage, all the advertising has to be on the vehicle. We would not allow anything separate on the vehicle, no banners, no temporary signs that are separate from the vehicle. Sound and music are an issue we've had a lot of discussion with, and the code as it's written now is, it's a little split. It's saying that we can't have any electronically amplified announcing of the vehicle coming to your area. Music, we right now wrote the code as no amplified music. That's a very difficult point because we know sometimes there is music and people actually appreciate that, but it would not be in this ordinance as it is now to go with the food truck operation. The only thing that we're stuck on is the ice cream truck, and how that works. And quite honestly, the code as written right now for your consideration is silent on that issue, because we're not exactly sure how to do that, because we've all heard it, we like the jingle bells, but sometimes they have these awful klaxons with some kind of awful flat sound, and we haven't figured out how we want to regulate that, but we're open to your suggestions. And is it stuck? Okay, and so for permitting and tracking, all of this would be by permit, whether it's on private property, if it's in parks other than a city event, if it's seasonal, or if it's a recurring event, promotional events, all of them would require a permit. The only non-permitted would be city-sponsored events, because of course we're controlling it, and city-sponsored events on city property. We would also exempt private catered events on private property, and that's something that you may want to comment on. Again, we have a lot of regulations about it, that it has to be on the driveway, 1 day only, 7 to 9. All the rules would apply to that, but we're exempting that for now. The documentation we require would still be local business tax if it's over 6 months. Am I correct on that? Yeah. We would need a site sketch or a survey for the operations that are going to be fairly permanent on a business site. We need property owners' authorization. We need their proof that they meet all the state, the Department of Business and Professional Regulation that regulates them. Fire insurance for general liability. We do want to see, where it's appropriate, a commissary agreement. This is actually pretty important, because it helps us assure that there's not a level of food preparation happening on site that we don't want to approve. Most of them do go to a commissary. That's where they stock up, or they go to Costco, whatever it may be. But all the food preparation happens, the major food preparation happens off-site, and only the necessary stuff happens in the truck. So if it's a hamburger truck, all the cold preparation happens ahead of time. They only cook on the truck for the hamburger. And finally, we would require a permit fee payment, which is in the ordinance right now. So thank you. That's all we have for now, and we look forward to a lot of discussion about this.
Question. Is there a huge demand in food trucks within the city that we are bringing this forward in front of us?
We have one actually in the city, and one of the things that we've really a primary motivation is that we do have to regulate it in some way. Otherwise, a food truck could be anywhere at the moment.
The one that we have in the city is where?
It's on it's an art studio on Ludlam.
It's right now located in Casa Cultura, in the rear of the commercial property.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's not seen from the street, and right now it is, temporarily there until we hopefully get this ordinance underway, but because of Florida statute, that's the okay that they're there.
And there was another request that came in. Was it for the Miller Auto lot, somewhere around there? Yeah.
We have had also from Miller 40 requests of putting a food truck or a couple of food trucks at their location, reason being they purchased the Ace lawnmower that's adjacent to their location, and right now they're not using it, but it's an
Where is this
idea that they're
located?
looking to propose.
Where is this located again?
Miller 40 is 6698 Southwest 8th Street, on the corner of 67th Avenue and Southwest 8th Street, the
Okay.
auto repair shop.
The Miller part of the name is they have another one on Miller.
Gotcha.
So right now,
Bird, actually.
we don't allow them at all.
No.
According to our ordinance, correct.
I personally don't mind for a special event. You could have 110 food trucks of all kinds. Permanently, I have an issue with it for a small city like ours, and the way we want to move forward with businesses, I don't think we need food trucks anywhere in the city. If it's a restaurant that wants to have an additional area, then that's something that we can consider on a case-by-case basis. But in my opinion, it is something that is not necessary and frankly unsightly to have every day. Special events, yes. Parties, yes. But it's something temporary, not part of the environment of, I don't think it, kind of
So
belongs to the area.
So I agree halfway, but when you have it, I guess, parked behind a business like the one on 67th is, I don't think it's a problem. And the only reason why I kind of like the food truck idea is because I've seen people start at a food truck and now they own 10 restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a way for someone, a small business owner, to kind of start. And then I think it kind of invites people to West Miami, because I understand taking on a permanent rent where somebody's asking you to sign for 3-5 years is scary for a young chef or somebody that's aspiring to do something different. So I believe in it. I like it, but I like it like how you said, aesthetically, where it's not for example, what worries me is the parking spaces kind of on Publix, that they can actually apply for a permit and set up there. I don't like that idea. I like the idea of how they're kind of located over there at the business right now, where they're behind a business, just like Miller, like you're saying, like it's not being used, so he wants to take advantage of his land and, get rent. I kind of like that idea. But I think it needs to be, I agree with my chair member, that it needs to look aesthetically appealing as well. But I do like it as well, because I think it's good for local businesses to start, for a local business to kind of, because I believe Todo Loco started as a food truck, and they're huge now. So I mean and I would like that to be invited to West Miami. So because it'd be nice to have something walking distance to eat.
I have a question as far as what we're allowing right now. Obviously, it's Cooper Park, right? We have several events, and when I walk by them, we have food trucks that line up right next to Cooper Park on 15th. Are we issuing permits for those right now? No.
No, because it's number one, city events,
Okay.
so.
So, so they're there, we know that they're coming, right? The city is allowing them to be there. They just don't
Correct.
show up
No, they
at
get.
random. Okay.
We pick the food trucks. Our special events coordinator is the one that reaches out to them. We set a certain limit as to how many we're looking to have, depending on the event.
So
That the city has.
based on this, could somebody apply for a permit and park at that park and be a food truck there? Based on this?
This,
Because I don't like that.
right now, our code is silent, and that's the problem.
Okay.
It's up to how we want to go forward with it. So we could not allow that. But we do need to provide some kind of ordinance that will tell the public what we allow as far as food trucks
I got you.
go.
Yeah, I think if somebody's having a party at the park or an event, they should, they could park there. But I believe if there's nothing going on, I don't know if I like somebody pulling a permit and setting up there.
Right.
Or also in any other, anything other than commercial. Like, I hear you mentioning townhouse district. The townhouse district is across the street from single-family homes.
Yeah.
I do not want, I would not like to have a food truck right in front of my house.
Yeah, I agree.
We have to watch out for, those residents that don't even know what we're discussing here. But I definitely, if there's one lot that needs to be dedicated to food trucks, sort of like, what they do at Tropical Park, where, everybody knows on Saturday morning, you go there, you eat from whatever, and that's a special event, that I have absolutely no problem with.
I agree with that.
I would not like to see them pop up here and there and behind this one because I'm, I have enough space here, or maybe taking this parking lot here, this parking space. I have an issue with that. It's not the way that I would like the city to go to.
I would agree with that, and I think this serves as the basis for us, I guess, to establish guidelines and criteria for this kind of activity. I guess this is all, the premise of this is that, as you said, and if I understand correctly, the state we cannot allow them the state mandates us apparently to allow them to operate in the city, correct?
Right, so we want to establish an ordinance, and I completely appreciate what you're saying. We kind of get it. I wanted to show you the full range of possibilities. And it seems like at this point, there's a lot of them on Bird Road, as you probably know. And the most successful ones are all behind businesses or on the sides of them. And, they're not in the front of the business. So we can work, based on your advice, we can work with it and establish refine the ordinance substantially.
Right.
I think I'm hearing that you don't want them in the residential areas at all.
Not at all.
Right.
I
No.
think
So-
I think the right of way is something that should try to be avoided.
Also, yes.
Completely.
Yes,
Commercial
100%.
and
Yes.
commercial property is something that we can do. I mean, for example, it's not part of our city, but on 57th and Coral Way, the gas station that's there, they've had that food truck there for years, and it's almost a staple. Like, I mean, they have great tequeños.
Yeah. Also, parking, how do you bring in?
Well,
other
that's an
people?
issue.
You have to
Yeah.
have some sort of parking that is safe, that is not, 67th Avenue, picking up somebody, in front of the apartments where they stop for, it's just a 1 minute kind of deal. That brings in a lot of issues. Or parking in front of everybody else's houses and, so.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I believe that if we're gonna do something, if we have to write up an ordinance, I would say it's just not allowed, or if we wanna discuss, something that's, allowed behind a building where there's sufficient parking and they have to mark the parkings, then that's something that we can consider, but definitely not in any other district other than commercial.
And is there a way of us limiting, like, for example, there's the ones that you drive and then there's the ones that you tow, the trailer ones, of having it where, hey, we want trailer ones so that they become more of a permanent, like, almost business that they're adding. So then that's like how they're getting approved instead. Like, again, the right of way for me is just a big no-no. I like completely. I don't think it won't look good.
Okay. Yeah,
I agree
I
with
think we
that.
can. Let me look into that a little more, but I don't think there's any real distinction between the trailer and the truck. But you have more assurance with the trailer that it's just in that spot.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, he's almost like a staple now. And then, if they grow, hopefully they get into having a restaurant location. That's the goal, right? I mean, that's why I think it's good to have them, but it needs to be done tastefully.
Right. Yeah, we use try to use operations that are in Miami, and of course we pick the ones that look better.
Of course.
So, but that's the goal, and we'll work with the ordinance to limit them to commercial on-site, and try to work with some ideas about regulating in a way where they are more appealing. Generally, with the parking on commercial properties, it's complementary, so typically they don't actually have to have their own parking, because the property owner, they don't want their business to fail. They're doing this to attract more to their business, and usually they manage it fairly well. We've not seen too many situations where we have to have extra parking for the truck, because they'll be operating after hours from the business, or they're deliberately there to bring in more customers because the business is not so busy.
We need
So-
to regulate that, put something in there that states that parking would not be allowed in the residential areas.
Correct.
Only within the commercial area. I'm not sure how we do that, but we've seen it here over and over again, that there's issues with parking for businesses on 57th Avenue. restaurants and different things, that people come in and park in front of the houses and then they just walk over. And the residents do really complain about that because there is no parking spaces. So now we're adding another layer of another commercial use that could potentially bring in more cars, more people, more. So we need to kind of look at that and be respectful of the residents that are adjacent to those commercial areas.
Yeah, I think one thing that I definitely would take into consideration and look into is any food truck applying for a permit so that we can issue them, because they will have to get a CU and an LBT from zoning department, is I would look at where it's gonna be located, which is where we're asking for a survey of the property, a site plan showing where it's gonna be set on that site. In addition, what would the hours of operation be? And I would take into consideration what that current property has as their hours of operation, because if the food truck is gonna be mainly for dinner, you know, and it's an office, administrative office space that closes at 4, you know, and they're gonna operate, you know, parking in that case won't be an issue. If it's an existing restaurant that it's constant people, you know, during the day and they're looking to establish a food truck, you know, where the conflict is there with parking, that's something that I definitely will take into consideration during my review process.
And also maybe some form of notification to the adjacent neighbors. Maybe the ones that, you know, share a boundary line or across the street or, you know, diagonal, something like that, so that they're aware that these people are requesting to put a food truck next to their side yard. Maybe that's something that, you know, they can write in a comment or not necessarily a public hearing, but at least comments from them so that they are, so that we know that they are aware, and if nobody raises an issue, then there's no issue, and we can allow the permitting of that. Maybe give them like a month to reply to the city or to comment back, something like that.
And we can consider portable buffers as well. So if there's a property facing a residential or next to it, they can also have, and I think the other one has it like sort of planters with hedges and so forth in them, just to buffer the visuals a little bit. So we'll consider that.
Okay. Any more comments?
I have one more question, because I think we have been silent on it. What the question of churches or religious institutions, schools, how do we want to treat those if they do want to have a special event?
I think it works the same like the city, where if they're doing a special event, they're applying for a special event permit, correct?
Correct. I just
Technically?
want to get that from you.
Yeah, I
It's
believe
just
for
a
a
one-day-
special event, it's a
Yeah.
one-day party kind of thing.
Exactly.
I think it's
a
fine.
1 day, yeah.
I think
They
it's fine.
should be able to do what they want.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick question on the time, the 7 to 9 p.m., the 7 a.m., is that us, or is that part of our proposal, or is that also state?
It's our proposal.
It's our
We
proposal.
just
Okay, so,
wanted to propose something so you could react to it.
mhm. I think 7's a little early. That's a long time. It's 14 hours. to be in
Well,
one day,
it's to
but-
allow for the, I can't think of the name of it. There's a little tiny coffee van on Brickell. There
Mhm.
are some of those businesses that have a little tiny corridor.
Mhm.
They use old microbuses to serve coffee out of. And those are popular
For
in the morning.
example, as an example, the 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. would apply to all of them, right?
Correct.
So if you're having a party in your driveway and we issue the permit at 7 a.m. in the morning, neighbors could still be sleeping. You know, we have a
Right.
population here that,
They do need to comply with our noise ordinance, if that's the case. I mean, the intent, I think, when we were drafting this was, you have a kid's birthday party, you don't want to rent at a park or somewhere else, you do it at home, and instead of getting a paella, you get a food truck, and
Yep.
it's, you know, parties are usually 3-4 hours, I think that's the idea where
But to clarify, what Mercy is talking about is okay, you would feel that that's okay for the residential areas to
Yes.
For special events,
Yes,
to
as
have a
long
food
as
truck
it's
in the driveway.
one day, it's,
Yeah.
it's a temporary thing, for one day, for a party, for a special
Okay.
event, like a kid's
Okay.
party or whatever, then yes,
I-
of course.
And it has to be on the driveway, or what we would not allow it to be on the right of way,
Yes,
you know.
On the driveway of the home, yes.
correct.
And it
Yeah.
has to fit.
Mhm.
We don't want trucks
Hopefully,
hanging over the
hopefully.
driveway.
Hopefully.
With-
Well,
yeah.
here, your driveways can be fairly
Within-
small.
within-
so-
yeah,
Or they can
within
push it into
reason.
the backyard and.
Right. But yeah, I do agree. That's the one part of residential that I think if it's gonna touch the residential aspect of it, it should be for specifically that purpose with the permit.
Okay.
Okay, next item. Almost to the finish line. Item 7F, sign permit 2026-003, applicant Cake Emporio, property address 1244-1248 Southwest 57th Avenue, West Miami, Florida 33144. Consideration and approval of sign permit application number 2026-003, submitted by Cake Emporio for updated exterior signage associated with the expansion of the existing business into the adjacent tenant space located at 1248 Southwest 57th Avenue, including an illuminated logo sign, window decal signage, and business identification signage located at 1244-1248 Southwest 57th Avenue, West Miami, Florida, pursuant to Section 22-5 of Ordinance Number 2013-08, amending zoning ordinance 282. And the applicant is here this evening. Okay, name and address for the record.
Hi. Disculpa, ¿puedo hablar en español? ¿Sería bien para todos ustedes?
Sí, I will try to translate,
Okay.
pero
Okay.
name and address for the record.
Okay. Okay, and I will try it. Okay. My name is Isabel Valenzuela, and I'm the owner of Cake Emporium. We try to put in a sign on the windows and on top of the store. Okay, and I want to keep it simple, you know, the design. And we try to expanding to the next place. We operate it now, but I just want to put in the crowns and the sign of the hours operated, and the sign on top of the store, which is with no light and is a PVC sign. Okay, very simple.
Just a little background history. So you know, Isa's been a very successful business owner here in our city. She established her business, this location, as you see in the image on the left, and she did come in front of this board and get approval for those current signages. She recently, like 6 months ago, she decided to expand, and the location next to her existing location was vacant at the time, and she is also renting out that space, so she wants to just simply add the 2 crown decals in the storefront with the hours of operation and just the logo of her business on the top, which is already, I believe that shopping center is already illuminated, so I'm not sure that you want
Yes,
your
they
signage to be
have
illuminated.
their own lights on top of
Yeah.
the sign. Yeah.
And this is the location of where the signage would be added.
Good.
Okay, so you're, can I go ahead and come?
Mhm.
So your location now will be on the right and the left, so half into,
Okay, the Cake Emporium started 3 years ago on the left side. They have their own sign on top of the store.
right,
Okay, That one, I already have that sign, but we expanding to the next door, you know, the next store. So we just want to put in some, you know, the Crown logo on top of the store to the customer know that we are there also.
Okay,
you
so
know.
that, okay,
Yeah.
so you're creating an extension of your brand over to
Exactly.
the other one without necessarily putting the
Cake
name again?
Emporium is
Okay.
correct.
I like
Right.
it.
Yes, I don't need to put in a name, you know, twice, because the logo is the most important. The crown is, you know, it's simple and is we have on all the boxes, all the cakes. So that one is a perfect logo to
I
this.
think if I remember correctly, then where the sign, where the name is, it pops out, right? I think it's on an awning, but it's not necessarily a there's
It's on the-
certainly a
it's a wall
height,
sign,
there's
so.
certainly a height difference, but yeah, there's an awning below it where the name, but I believe it pops out, so it wouldn't have been possible for her to move the sign in the middle between the two anyways, because they would probably be offset.
Correct, and
To move the
also,
name,
also
right.
the new location, so looking at that storefront or the whole building,
Right.
if you notice, there is a height difference, and I believe there's also a little bit of a setback difference with,
That's
two
what I'm saying, yeah, it
locations,
looks
yeah.
like the new location for her is inset,
yes.
and then obviously the old location has a parapet, so,
Correct.
which is higher than the other one.
Yes,
Um,
both, I'm so sorry,
Mhm.
both stores have the different size.
Yeah,
of
different,
the-
yeah, they're offset
So
from each other.
it's I think in that, but it's impossible, you know, the walls is
Yeah.
completely.
So you wouldn't be able to move the sign over both
yeah.
areas, okay. Go back to the, when you go back to the, yeah, okay. And then, do you have those currently on your windows, the
No.
other logos?
No, this is just the design.
Okay,
Okay, and the crown are very small, it's 8 inches crown. Looks bigger to let you know an idea how it looks like. But the crown are 8 to 10 inches. I don't have that size exactly, but it's a smaller. Okay.
so you're proposing a crown on each of them, so you would have
Yes, of
6
each
crowns
window.
at eye level, and then one bigger crown up top?
It's correct.
Yeah, this
That-
is for
that's
decal
the-
crowns, 10 inches height, 10 inches.
Okay.
And I want to keep classic, you simple, you know, not a lot of information on the windows.
Are you keeping your entrance door as the one door that you have now, or are you also adding another entrance on the expansion? Or is that door gonna be locked?
No, that is a locked door. There now we have an office and the production's cakes there, but it's not open to the
But
customer.
when you expand there, would I, as your customer, be able to walk in that door, or would I still use the one that I'm
Just
u-
one
that-
door,
that-
you
that's
know,
just
yes,
now?
exactly.
Frankly, I think the new crown logo at the top detracts from how simple and how classy your existing sign is. Everybody knows where it is. You've had a very successful business.
Yes.
Thanks
Yes, I
to
am.
that sign.
Mhm.
I honestly believe that although you're allowed to have more signage, that crown up there detracts from the existing one. And if you're not gonna have an entrance on that new door, I wouldn't put the hours of operation. I would leave the hours of operation on the entrance door that you have now. And then if you wanna have the crowns on the glass, but just, keep it simple. What you have in there, minus the hours of operation on the new door and the logo on top. I think that if I'm driving by and I'm not quite sure, I see Cake Emporium and then I see another crown, I'm hesitant to, is that a new store? Is it similar? Is it a jewelry store? Because it doesn't have your name, but you've already been recognized with your existing sign. To me, that's enough and that's sufficient. And then if you want to add the ones for the more pedestrian type of thing on the glass, then, you know, that would be
Yeah.
fine. But I think that one on top detracts from the look of the business. That's my 2 cents.
Ok, más o menos, ¿me puedes traducir un poco? Disculpa, no hablo muy
No,
bien,
no, no.
hay veces
No,
que es
your
importante
English
la
is
palabra.
beautiful. Your English is perfect.
Yes, I can
We
speak,
didn't
but
have
not-
any problem understanding
I
you
can
at all.
speak with,
You did well.
with accent. Okay, básicamente, okay, I think, okay, you're right, but I think at the same time that it's important to the customer to remember the crown is very important more than the name, you know, because it's our logo in everywhere. So I think the crown of on the windows, when the car is parking there, you can see it from the street.
You cannot see it.
No,
No.
I cannot see it. So that's why I'm thinking in the big one to, you know, to see for the customer see the store, you know, because it's
But the customer already sees the store, and the customer already knows that your store is Cake Emporio, and it's on that darker, I don't know, to me, that looks a lot more striking than adding another sign. It's like, I don't know, it's like having an earring and then putting a little earring on top. It's like, yeah, you already have a massive earring, and everybody knows that earring, but the other piece of jewelry kind of like detracts. I like to keep it more minimal. You've been successful with that one. The fact that you're expanding your business is great, and you're proud of that, and you should be proud of that. I believe that just the signage on the glass should be sufficient, but the board can, you know, discuss.
I think maybe kind of a middle ground might work. Maybe would you consider, I like your logo, especially the one on top of the Emporium. I think what it is the oval with the white background is really drawing my eye to it versus the actual crown itself. Maybe, would you consider maybe just the crown up there, but the crown like you have it above the Cake Emporium and on the windows without the oval and the white? I mean,
Yes, I think that's
I
a splendid idea.
think that's
I think that's
kind of a
very, very
middle
good idea.
ground that I think
Yes.
would get you what you want
Better.
with the height up top. So
Yep.
I can understand if a van or a tall vehicle parks there, you can't see the ones on the windows. But I think that's what's really detracting and leading my eye to it is the background in white with the oval. Everything, there's nothing circular around anywhere in the facade. So that's why it makes it pop out.
That is a
Yeah.
good idea, you know, the shape of the
Basically,
logo.
copy the one that you have
Yeah.
there, copy it across.
Exactly. You know, yes, and I agree. You know, the shape of the crown with the little border in white, okay, looks fantastic, better than the round. I think in the round logo, because that wall have the same color of the crown. That crown is like is gold, but the background is beige. You know, that's why I think in something to attract the crown. So the shape will be look very good with the little lines in white, you know, to result the crown. What do you think? What are you think? No.
So it would be illuminated, and it would look similar to the one that you have, except you're gonna have a border around the edges of the crown. Or it would not be illuminated at all.
No, that is just a plain sign, is a PVC, you know, sign. It doesn't have light.
It doesn't,
Okay,
okay.
it's flat. It's just a flat. So there have a light on top of the sign from the building light, okay? So the sign is flat, doesn't have light, okay?
Yeah, it's downlit from above. Is the crown above, it's really bright, is that backlit as well? Is that illuminated? The one above the Cake
Yes, it's
Emporium
illuminated.
is
Yes.
illuminated.
It's illuminated.
Well,
see
part of it
King
is the
Emporium,
photo.
but you can't really see the.
Right, part of it is the photo. I mean, that's just the way sometimes it comes out on a photo. My iPhone does that. But again, I think that just the oval going away, and you're talking about border in white, I just don't know how thick that border it is that you're wanting to. But I think with the light that is shining down on it, I think as a standalone crown, I think it'll hold its own. Maybe consider making it, I'm fine with it having gold in the windows. Maybe consider making it a darker color so it makes contrast with the background. I know the background and the crown would be about the same color. If you wanted to pop out, maybe create some contrast like that.
Well, the best contract, I think, is the gold crown with the border in white. That one is the best contract there. If you put in blue or something else,
I think
it's
what
not the logo.
You
I
can
think what she
present that.
means is keep, instead of having the crown in a circle,
In an oval, yeah. So
Or
just
oval,
with a big background.
have just the crown itself with the outline of the crown in white
Mhm.
to make it pop, but
okay.
not be encased in
Not
in
being
a
encased
circle.
in there. Okay, I would be okay with that.
Is your existing sign over here, because on the picture, it looks like it's bordered blue. It's bordered blue on the other one?
Yes, have the border blue, but there is a blue, but have the white around of each names, and then have the blue.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would copy that and just put the logo?
Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
We're good?
Does someone want to make a motion with the condition?
Motion to approve item 7F
With the condition,
Second motion.
with the condition of not making a circle oval and doing it just the logo how you have existing.
Yes, I just want to put in the crown.
Exactly. We got it.
okay, does someone want a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, Board Member Eugenio Gonzalez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Anthony Verona, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member William Santiago, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Madam Chair Diana Rio, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, item passes 4-0 with the condition to keep the crown signage with the outline and remove the circle.
Okay.
Better.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much
Good luck.
for the opportunity to expand the talents and the arts in the West Miami City, okay? That is my mission, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so
We're
much.
happy to have a very successful business in the city.
Mhm.
You're done.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay?
You too. Take care.
Thank you. Next item, item 7G, sign permit 2026-004. Applicant M.A. Jewelry, property address 1783 Southwest 67th Avenue. Consideration and approval of sign permit application number 2026-004 submitted by M.A. Jewelry for the installation of new exterior signage consisting of non-illuminated channel letters mounted on the building facade located at 1783 Southwest 67th Avenue, West Miami, Florida, pursuant to Section 22-5 of Ordinance Number 2013-08, amending zoning ordinance 282. The applicant was here, and it looks like they left early. We are running a long meeting. I'm hoping if this item can still be heard, and I can contact the applicant, because they did submit this application in March, and I would hate to have to defer this item to a future meeting.
So this signage is being proposed to be put on a awning, like a concrete awning, or what am I looking at here? What is this
Okay,
material
so this
that I'm looking
business,
at?
this is 1783 Southwest 67th Avenue. If you look at the PowerPoint, this is the shopping center. They are limited in terms of where they can put in architectural signage, so this is the option that they are going with. This is a new jewelry store that is taking over what used to be a plumbing supply store. And right now, they don't have anything on their storefront, and they're looking to simply just put the MA jewelry sign there on the awning of the building.
Equivalent to the liquor store, basically.
Similar, yes.
The liquor store signage, is that something that we approved here?
If it did go
Or
in front of
it's
this
been there?
board, it was many, many, many years ago, because that business has been there for, I believe, over 20 years.
I don't recall that signage at all, but.
I assume that the color that is being submitted here is the color that they're proposing?
Yes, sir.
With the built-in shadowing or the fading on the letters? I just don't know if that's just the way it printed out or the effect.
That is what they're proposing. We don't have a restriction on color in terms of signage. They just can't exceed 30%. And they're right now at 4.5%.
Okay. They're at what? I'm sorry?
So they're at 4.5% of the total facade area, which is well below the 30% of the maximum allowed.
Well under.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, given that the business that's been there already for 20 years has possibly the same sign it had 20 years ago, right?
That's the alcohol,
Mhm.
the liquor store at the end.
Yeah, given that that's already there, it's the same awning. I can understand why they would want the sign on their building as well, on the building as well. Any other comments?
I understand that there's no placement, no good placement for
Right.
any type of identification for any type of business that goes in here.
Yeah,
That liquor store sign, it may have been approved at some point. That is really not appealing at all. This is something that we need to address, the signage code, because it's things like this where we're stuck because we can't deny a business signage, but at the same time, there's really no good location for this. So it's a catch-22. Just because the other one is there and, and it's been there for years, doesn't mean that this one is gonna look great. Imagine when the other business comes in and then puts another one, and then we have 4 different signage that exceeds the height of the canopy and goes above and below the existing canopy. But I also understand that there's no good placement for it,
Mhm.
so.
right. Anything else?
No, I don't have any questions. I agree with everything you're saying. If somebody has it, I don't know how we can, I don't think we should deny them. That's,
So with that, I'll put a motion to approve.
second,
Okay, Board Member Eugenio Gonzalez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Board Member Anthony Verona, how do you vote?
yes.
Board Member William Santiago, how do you vote?
Yes.
Madam Chair Diana Rio, how do you vote?
No.
Okay, item passes 3-1. Next item, go to the order.
Anything else? He wants to know, what does that mean, to go to the order? Are we
Any-
done? Do you have anything else to say?
Any
more
questions, comments?
No.
No, nothing
Okay.
else.
Then go to the
Hearing
order.
none.
Go to the order.
Motion to adjourn?
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.